Welcome. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. My name is Jennifer Yugo, and I'm the managing director here at Corvertus. And we're kicking off a new initiative. We've done it a little bit before, but Coffee with Corvertus videos every few weeks on key topics that you're probably thinking about regarding your people and your team headed into 2020 and beyond. So we're very excited to get this started. I'll be joined by my team at times, and today I'm going to be talking about the idea of advancing women leaders and how we may often overlook the powerful role that culture can play with advancing women leaders and creating equal opportunity. So I'm very excited to chat a little bit about that and share some suggestions and frameworks and things that might be helpful. Now, when we talk about culture, and if you've talked with other members, other leaders of your team about culture, it's easy to go to this surface mode where we're talking about beanbag chairs and benefits even, and free lunches, or some of the very surface things that we do, and not be talking about our vision, our definition of success, and a shared understanding of how we're going to reach that end definition of success. And ultimately, our culture isn't having a ping pong table or anything like that. It's more our character. And because who we promote, who we hire, make all those important employment decisions, that's ultimately about our character and who we are and how we're going to move forward as a team. And that's why culture, which has often been in the past few years talked about as being a proxy for discrimination or proxy for bias, if that's the case, then you're probably doing it wrong. Culture should create equal opportunity, shared understanding, and enthusiasm and optimism for the future and who we are. So let's take a step back and maybe start by talking a little bit about some research and understanding of women in the workplace and some of the things that happen when there's discussions about who should be promoted or maybe who should be hired, and why we might be hearing that culture is a proxy for bias. So one finding from looking at performance evaluations and other research is that women are often given more limited feedback. Now, that could be very unclear. What I mean by limiting is she's too intimidating. She didn't pass the airport test. Something that just says the negative and tends not to focus on, well, what they could be, what they could do, and their potential in the future. Like the last example here, he'll be a great director. He just needs to learn to be more patient. And this is, despite having set succession planning, performance evaluation systems, standardized hiring processes, we still encounter these sorts of biases. And so that's where culture, I believe, and we have some research to show, could really help. When we also look at women and men in organizations and how long it takes them to advance to the next level, a large study looking at thousands of cases found that it takes on average a woman 30 to 36 months, so around 3 years, to move from one level to the next, whereas for men, it's much shorter. And this is looking at for all the things you would expect to be, after controlling for all the things you would expect to be for this type of research. So work hours, experience, anything like that, we still see these differences. And we even see Ellen Kullman, a former DuPont CEO, talking about the importance of culture and having that shared definition of success and values and end destination in mind in terms of providing that foundation for equal opportunity. So when we see recent studies that highlight some of these disparities, I know a lot were in the news in the latter part of 2019 here. This is with having all the tools at our disposal that we do, and we're still having that disparity. And one thing we might not be doing enough of is looking at our culture and aligning everything around our culture for hiring and promoting and developing people. So when I mean culture, and I talk about that shared definition of success and also how it is achieved, one thing is it's a blueprint. So it provides the nuts and bolts and the path forward for where we're headed. It needs to be aligned and shared by everyone in our organization. And ultimately, it means that it's intentional. It requires intentional action, not just saying, well, gosh, it would be wonderful if we had pet health care benefits for our team, and that would have make us look more warm and fuzzy, or increase beliefs that we're compassionate or something like that. It means thinking very intentionally about where you're headed strategically as a business, and then what it takes on a day-to-day basis to get there. It's hard work, not something that we do one-off or on a haphazard basis. You might be familiar, either if you've worked with us or just from other studies of culture, with the onion model for culture. And what we can see here is the things like what your office looks like, your logo, how you promote yourself outwardly, really start later and come later. What starts first is having, again, that set of values, which we're going to talk about in detail, how they can be broken down into promises that you hold your employees accountable to, but also promises that you make them, and then promises to every stakeholder group. And then how are you going to live those promises through policies, through experiences, procedures, all those different things. And what we've found, when you have a strong culture and a strong vision, it enables that to literally eat bias for lunch. So we're aligned around where we're headed, what's important, the qualities it's going to take to get there, what we need in that leader that's going to be directing setting the direction of our success going forward. So it makes things much more fair, precise, and a greater equal opportunity going forward. So I'll talk a little bit more about what that vision might look like. One of our co-founders, Tom Dakotas, talks about leadership, and that one thing that differentiates great leaders is having strong answers to all of these questions that I have here. So a vision tells us where we're going, what we're going to achieve as a team. So our vision talks about, for example, earning the active loyalty of all of our people, whether that's our customers or our team internally or our community. And then kind of when we achieve that, what will it look like? What will we have? What's our reason for moving forward? And then how do we get there? And then what's in it for me? What promises can I be certain that I'm always going to have met regarding my day-to-day experience, my development, my future with the organization? And one of the reasons this is so critical and could be very helpful with providing equal opportunity across organizations, across locations, departments, regions, is that leaders will not do what they do not believe in. So they need to believe in your vision and in where the organization is headed. So if leaders across your organization believe different things, are headed in different places, that's going to affect your ability to execute consistently for your customers or patients or clients or key stakeholder group, to have that consistent experience and execution every time they interact with you. And in that way, by setting strong values and promises and expectations and defining that and holding everyone accountable to that, it can help you have that consistency with hiring and promotion, so that every leader at XYZ level is going to have the same qualities, and everyone that is touched by that leader will have the same experience of your organization and brand. So when we're talking about a vision is really a good fairy tale. And what is a good fairy tale? What does it have? It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I am first told the future direction of the organization. You can do that through your hiring materials, your careers page, how you interact with new candidates. And then from day one, I understand where we're headed, and I have the same experience as everyone else with understanding and being held accountable to and being coached and supported within the culture of the organization. And then I'm also made aware of some of the challenges. So a good fairy tale has a villain or has dark forces that we have to push against. And a good vision will make those clear, and why we need consistent execution and flawlessness on all the key things that we do in order to advance as an organization. And then finally, it has an end. So I know what will happen if I'm able to achieve and consistently live all the promises. So I have that reason to keep pushing forward and reason to believe in my organization. So that really highlights when you're thinking about these promises. So we have promises to our customers again, to our employees, to our community, and it focuses on, and to our partners as well, on 3 different things. Or you might want to think about 3 different things when you're looking at what promises you might want to have to your employees and from your employees. You want to think about that flawless execution. So what do you need for your key stakeholder group to have that flawless, best-in-class experience every time? And then also, what elements of human goodness? How do you define human goodness? What do you want your customers, your clients, your patients to feel really good about by choosing your urgent care, your retail store, your restaurant, your B2B business service provider? So all of those 3 things, those 3 end goals, tend to be the reasons behind what your stakeholder promises are. And I'm just going to briefly, at a high level, highlight some example promises. So some of these are things that in our vision statement at CoreVirtus that we have, and others are ones that we have often used or used a hybrid of for some of the organizations we partnered with to create vision statements. So if we're talking about equal opportunity for women or any other group, clear direction. I have to know exactly what's expected of me. I need to know about change and how it is communicated and be supported during times of transitions or times of difficulty if we're talking about total support. So not only are having these things listed, their titles listed, but we need to have a crystal clear definition of what clear direction or total support and or belonging, if those were our 3 promises to our employees, what those mean on an everyday basis. And that ultimately your leaders are responsible for holding true to those promises. And so that provides a really clear framework for them to be developed as leaders and then also evaluated as leaders, and for us to consider who might be good and what the strengths and challenges are for potential leaders heading into those roles. Now we also have, and importantly, have promises from employees. So part of our work at CoreVirtus, doing what we do, we very much value intensity and people that are going to, do what they say they're going to do and do it quickly and have a strong sense of urgency in taking care of our customers. So we may have, whether it's, intensity itself or getting after it, we will have some type of a term talking about what our expectations are, total support for our customers, and define that, and then we can use that going forward for how we talk to new team members, to how we support them throughout the entire time that they're with us. The same thing for teamwork. You could call it out as teamwork, but then specifically defining what we, not me, or teamwork, or stepping up, what exactly that means, and then, as we're going to talk about, tying it into everything that you do as an organization. We did talk about having promises for every stakeholder group, including your customers, and these are useful for me, and I can speak to my experience as a leader here. We have something called intense customer caring that talks about having that, again, intensity for caring for our customers and getting stuff done, and swiftly addressing anything that is a problem, ideally, before it even becomes a problem, being proactive. So by having promises to your customers, your ultimate stakeholder group, and clearly defining those, that's another tool that you have for teaching, for coaching, and then again for those hiring and promotion decisions. If we know that our customer experience to become best in class, to get where we want to go, involves these 4 promises, then I can start thinking, okay, if affordable pricing, and that's actually one of our promises to our customers, if that's important, and it is important and something we want to live and become better at, then what do I need in my team? I need people who are going to be attentive to those types of perceptions. Maybe we're talking about reducing costs as much as we can. So I need teammates that are going to be aware of how long different steps of certain processes take, so that we can reduce those, so that we can be as affordable and as efficient and lean as possible. So having, again, all of those stakeholder groups, it doesn't just stop at to employees or from employees, but includes customers, We also talk about, again, our partnerships that we have with other organizations. So where they're not our customers so much, but as like a tech platform that we might partner with, or a job board, and what are the shared values and things that we need to consistently execute in those relationships to be successful. So when you have that commitment to a shared vision and your promises and your values and beliefs in place, then you can start interweaving it and living it and using great tools to accelerate your success as an organization and your path to best in class. So one thing that we've done and we've helped organizations with is benchmarking. So let's go back to those customer promises that we were just on. We could go and survey, our core Vertis customers and see how we're doing on each of those promises, how we're executing on that, and then chart that from year to year. And maybe even if we were able to break it down by department or area or type of customer or industry, and see how we're living our promises by those, and then make strategic decisions going forward. We can also look at how we're hiring. So with hiring, if, again, we have affordable pricing and we have intense customer caring. At being an industrial organizational psychologist, one of the biggest predictors of success on the job is your ability to learn, problem solve, cognitive ability. So to achieve those promises, in a lot of roles, we're going to need a certain level of potential of mental horsepower regarding problem solving. So am I incorporating that in the hiring process? And then to tie back to advancing women leaders, having those standards in place for hiring and promotion, again, create equal opportunity, a strong foundation, a clear understanding of what it takes to be successful. And then also for our vision, and important for, again, having that equal opportunity, is training and coaching. So making sure that people know the vision and have the same experience and understand the vision from day one. And that we use that vision language and those promises and values and beliefs when we're teaching and coaching on an everyday basis. So just to go back to my own experience and how I work as a leader, if we were, let's say, discussing or debriefing something with a customer, we would use some of the words for our promises that, affordable pricing, total support, support for their success, lots of different things that we have internally as our vision and use that on an ongoing basis. We also incorporate it just in our daily activities. We recognize people for living the vision. We have fun ways of making sure that people know the values when they're new teammates, and then also on an ongoing basis. So with all that in mind, your vision and your culture and your efforts in that area can become your moral code. So as you grow, or if you're already part of a large organization or you supervise a lot of people, how can you be sure that when no one is looking, when you're not available, that your team, your leaders are making the right decision, that are making the same decision that you would in that situation? And ultimately, one of the best ways to do that is to have, and most strong and consistent ways to do that, is to have a set of core values and beliefs and promises that you've taught and enforced and aligned your entire team and their passion behind it, so that you have that confidence that everyone is doing what is absolutely right and fair and aligned with your ideas of being best in class, flawless execution, and human goodness. So to summarize, to go back to that idea of culture fit potentially being a proxy for bias, when we have that shared vision of success, and again, how it should be achieved, when we've created systems and procedures and everything to support our people with those promises in mind, then it's relatively easy, or easier, to come up with precise and mutually agreed upon criteria. So if I'm evaluating someone to be a leader on my team, I'm less likely to think about how I view them as a potential friend or just my own personal preferences, but to instead think about, I am aligned and I believe in this definition and the success of my organization. This is what it's going to take. And this person, even though we have some interpersonal preference differences, they're still the best person to be on my team, to support me, to be a leader. And that will ultimately create more equal opportunity, dramatically more equal opportunity, and just a more fair and diverse workforce, regardless of what we're talking about. So when we have that shared alignment, what we've seen from organizations where we've done this type of work is you'll also start to get more productive and useful interpersonal dialogue and productive behavior within teams, across interdepartmentally. So things like, she lives our values. Maybe someone goes up for a promotion and they don't receive it, but the process was fair and useful. When someone's hired, instead of reacting with, again, my own personal preferences or who I would have liked to have received that promotion, I understand that this person, knows her opportunities. She supports our success. She's a strong choice for what we need in that position. No, so thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate personally the privilege of your time and the opportunity to share these ideas. And we look forward to many more Coffee with Core Vertices going forward and building out this series. So I did cover a lot of information very quickly. So if you'd like to talk more about anything that we have to offer, please feel free to reach out, and please like and share. And I look forward to connecting with you next time. Thank you so much.